Welcome back to the show. Today's topic: after the breakup. My last podcast, it was the end of relationships, but I kind of went all over. Well, not all over. It was more about the end of relationships in many aspects. Whereas today, I want to kind of just focus on the romantic aspect and of a breakup, and kind of just, a healthy way of going through the processes of a breakup, or the processes, just certain processes that you go through the end of breakups. And I meant to discuss it further in my last podcast, but just like with everything, I kind of tend to round it off and branch out to other aspects that are affecting us as a male community. So one of the things that I I you know I after, no one likes a breakup, right? No one likes the end of anything is very hard, especially when it's a girl that we like, or a wife, and or whatever reason for the breakup. No one wants that. And yes, there's many variables as to what causes it, the statistics that point to certain aspects that might lead to breakups. But honestly, I mean, just the bottom line is no one really likes, to break up. But when we do break up with the woman that we like, or maybe we don't like, there's always, ramifications to the breakup, and a certain kind of flow, I guess, or just like self healing thing that you have to do and take some time for yourself before you're even able to be reintroduced, I guess, into society. And it varies depending, of course, on the length of the relationship, and what was, well, yeah, basically just the length of the relationship, and also the how much passion, was it one of those quick, and powerful passion, and kind of died down? Did it peak in the middle? Did it peak towards the end? I mean, there's so many things, so it just depends on how or what the imprint was. And so, just to get right into it without trying to say why, I think we all know why it's important to have a healthy mindset during the breakup. So the first thing I wrote in here was to give yourself some time. And I mentioned it yesterday with, even losing a job, and romantic, and with friends, families, and acquaintances. But one of the best things we could do for ourselves after a breakup is just give ourselves some time. So usually, and too often, I see us men just jumping into another relationship, just trying to do what, I guess, some people say what women do. I don't really know if it's what women do or what men do. They tend to just jump from one relationship to another. Some, therapists or psychiatric professionals tend to say that that's kind of covering up for the pain. They're not dealing with the emotions, and they keep on going from one damaged person to another. And well, maybe not a damaged person, but you being damaged, you just keep on damaging people on your way to bettering yourself, and you're just trying to cover up instead of feeling the emotions. So it's very important to just kind of give yourself some time without jumping into another relationship, just because it isn't fair for the person that has nothing to do with whatever you're coming out of, but you are then entering their life and bringing that whole bad energy into their existence. And if that person isn't strong enough, you then change her outlook and her path in life. And it might not be you take them off the path of their life, but you detour them for a little bit, and it's never fair. And you see that so much in this society. So when when we do that, we end up causing hurt people, and people end up having bad, or females end up having bad taste in their mind, in their mouth, after saying, just from bad experience, from broken person, from broken guy, they develop some kind of dating trauma and start doubting, and we perpetuate this kind of a bad, dating relationship culture, just because we want that security, we want that stability, or that the intimacy that we left, and we want to go ahead and seek it again in someone else. And I just think, for me, when I was going through this, and for many people, just giving yourself some time to be in your own head, to kind of sit there and understand the relationship, where it was good, where it was bad, and what caused the relationship to fall apart, is very healthy and therapeutic. And for myself, I say 1 year minimum before you even go out there and try to date again, because I just feel that's enough time, 365 days, to kind of feel the emotions. And again, I've heard for some people it takes more. I've also heard for some people it takes less, but I think at least a year to be able to process everything should be enough, or at least you've hopefully thought about it, understood it, whether you did the breaking up, or you were the one broken up with. It doesn't really matter. It gives you time to process and understand the other person, the female's point of view as to why it ended, or why you ended it. Another thing is that in that time, you're going to focus on you. And I know that's pretty tiresome, and it's really regurgitated information, but it's really true. You have to be able to focus on yourself, so that when you enter, after the year, hopefully, of your discovery, or not really discovery, just understanding where you're coming from, what you're getting out of, understanding whether you're a better person, whether you're extremely hurt, whether you come out of this with trust issues, insecurities, whether you're coming off better than you were going into it. It really depends on you. You want to focus on you, on your mental health, on your spiritual health, on your physical, going to the gym, just to focus on you. That for that year, being self-centered, being, me is such a healthy thing to do after a breakup. That way there's so many benefits, and I'll get to some of them as I'm going off of my little list here that I have here. But when you focus on yourself throughout every aspect of yourself, you're just going to develop you're going to be in tune, is what I meant to say, with yourself. You're going to be in tune, what goes well, what you like, what you don't like, where you fail at, what you can tolerate. You could reassess your boundaries. You could reassess your expectations. You could just do so much leveling up, that when you come out of it after the year, hopefully, you just come up leveled up in such a different level, that you just can't help but attract the people that you want, that kind of quality of person that you want, or that female that you want. And that's what focusing on you brings to the table. Another point is, there's no rush. There's no rush to go from one relationship to another. So it's okay to stay single. A lot of men feel like they have to have validation, so they jump into a relationship, because a relationship kind of validates us as men. For some men, not all men, but for a large majority of them, call it mommy issues, call it whatever kind of issues. But whether you think you know the reason, or you don't know the reason, for many reasons, it's something that men do. So I know it sounds like a very feminine thing to say to men, but I just think it's something that needs to be told to men, that, hey, it's okay to stay single. It's okay to not want to jump into another relationship, and just either play the field, go out, go dating, kind of build your friendship circles, whatever. But it's okay to not jump from one relationship to another. And actually, I encourage that. That way you don't hurt other people. You don't go into a relationship with your doubts and insecurity because your ex cheated on you, or because you fell in financial ruin because you don't know how to save money, because you can't afford to take women out on dates, and you're just a cheapskate. So given the time that I said, like a year, it gives you enough time to focus on yourself, and it gives you enough time to say, hey, it's okay to be single. And you kind of save a little money, get your dress code up, kind of just again level up, so that when you do get ready to have these women receive you, in as you show yourself, you want to show yourself in the best light, in the best version of you. And it's only going to happen when you get to know yourself. Again, a very feminine thing to say, but you're gonna have to fucking get to know who you are as a man. And with your faults, especially like I said, coming out of a breakup, once you've been out of a breakup enough and you understand it, and there's a period when you don't have dates or you're not dating, that's a whole different issue. Whether you're single by choice or single because you don't know you don't know how to date, or so many other reasons why you could still be single. But choosing to be single and saying, hey, I'm gonna take off 2 years from dating and just focus on myself, my wealth, my inner circle, and building myself up as a man. It's perfectly okay, and actually, it's one of the healthiest things that a man could actually do for himself. So once just to get that through your mind, that it's okay to be single, and you have this time, these 1-2 years, to focus on develop yourself or restart hobbies, something that kind of fills that 1/3 of your time, to be able to keep that creative side of your mind active, flowing, always thinking. And that keeps us young. That keeps us forever having our minds attached to something, whether it be reading, whether it be, I had a friend that used to have those electronic cars, they used to put like little gasoline, and it was like a little car, like a miniature car, and they went really, really fast. You could soup them up with like Nas. But it was a pretty cool hobby. I know people that love to like fly kites. I know some that do planes, little model planes that fly, or not even model, just regular model planes, like the ones you glue together, puzzles, crafting, bicycling, fitness. I mean, the list goes on and on. But develop some, or just restart some that you had after a breakup, is just a way to take your mind off of whatever it was, admirable relationship breakup or end to a relationship, and you just miss maybe talking to that person. So these little things like developing a hobby or restarting a hobby is a great way that it's just going to take your mind, not take the hurt, because in the instance that I'm saying, there's no hurt. It's more or less, because if it ended, cordially, or not with any animosity, like I said, you might still miss the conversations, just the connection that you have with person, and just these hobbies just keep that part of you occupied. So it's easier to move forward along with hobbies, and or developing hobbies or restarting hobbies. You're gonna make yourself more well-rounded. You're gonna start becoming I don't want to call it a renaissance man, but maybe I should, where a renaissance man knows a little bit of a little bit about a lot of things that makes him interesting. Of course, you want to master stuff. You want to make sure you're talking with facts, with integrity, even if sometimes you're wrong, I guess, even though I said facts. But given the current culture and stuff, who knows? But you talk with integrity and talk with power, and you're interesting. Like, oh, I go hiking or scuba diving. I also smoke cigars, or take, I'm a whiskey connoisseur, or whatever the hell it is. I'm using very macho centric examples, but you in that time, you just make yourself well-rounded to be the best version, not only for women but for the world, in your mental health, in your physical health, what you do for fun, your friends, your what so now I want to say associates, but it's not associates, acquaintances. You develop a better circle of friends and acquaintances. Your finances, you make yourself more well-rounded in your finances. Your habits, you develop good habits, and that becomes, making your, even more making you more well-rounded and just overall more interesting, because you have been evolving yourself as a man. And just, in your mental health, if you're studying about mental health, and keeping yourself in meditation and a good energy and a good flow, that's very attractive. And if you make yourself more rounded in your physical appearance, like you look better physically, aesthetically, that's just gonna be a plus. If you do that with your finances, I mean, who doesn't want more money in their pockets, right? If you become more well-rounded with your friends and with your acquaintances, you're just gonna have that many more people goal and driven, to accomplish stuff. That's just, it can't help but bring you up into that, upper level where you need to be. And some same thing with, your what the if you become more well-rounded on what you do for fun. So if you're a homebody, but now you're starting to do fun things like go out and throw some axe, go to the gun range, go shoot some archery, go horseback riding, whatever. Just makes yourself a little bit more interesting, and stuff that you like to do, and just kind of branching out, and you again just become well-rounded again, with, like I said, with the good habits. All it does is make a nice, better version that everyone's going to enjoy. Not only women, but if you have kids, your kids, of course, women, your friends, your acquaintances. You're just gonna, when you just, and that's why I'm saying these examples, because these don't really cost a lot of money, or basically they don't. It's just changing your attitude, making yourself and saying, hey, I am this way right now, and I'm gonna now either elaborate or make it a little bit more, robust, and start trying stuff that are in your character, but start pushing the limits of those things. So in that discomfort, you're going to grow, because you're just pushing the boundaries of that balloon. I mean, of course, you don't want the balloon to pop, but you throw a little bit more oxygen in there, and you're like, okay, it's going. And you want to hold that happy medium, but you want to make sure that you do it. And all it's going to do, not only are you going to attract people that are doing some of those likely things that you're going to go to do and branch out, you're going to then develop some kind of knowledge of that, where you meet a woman for drinks, and you could say, oh yeah, I went to do archery. Oh my god, I did too. Oh, I know this great spot, da, 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 da. And it could lead to a second date, a nice fun date in the progression of the dating thing. So it's just good to have that mindset of making yourself more well-rounded. After a certain amount of time, when you feel you are ready to start dating, you're going to want to do it with a purpose. Hopefully you're gonna, because you've made yourself so well rounded, you in the time that you've given yourself, the 1 or 2 years, and you've put such an intense focus on yourself, and you told yourself, hey, it's okay for me to be single. I'm just gonna sit here for a year, 2 years, and focus on every aspect of my life, and trying to make myself more well rounded in every one of those aspects, whether it be communicating with females, your style, your finances. Like I said, I already went through some examples, and it just depends on you. And when in that process, you're just gonna be, making yourself that nice diamond that you're gonna polish yourself off to be. And when you're starting to come out of the furnace in as this diamond, and I know I'm using like feminine terms, I don't know how to sue it, as this brute man or whatever you want to call it, as you're just chiseling yourself from, the mold to the man that you want to be, you're gonna want to start dating with a purpose. Like, what is your call? Like, what is it that you want? And that's what takes us to the beginning of this dating and relationship series, is, making sure the communication is there. Like, are you really serious after a year or 2 years of, this self-help and making yourself well-rounded? Do you want a woman? Do you need a woman? And if you do need a woman and want a woman, what are the expectations? What is it that you want? What is it that you learned from your last relationship that you don't want to continue in this next relationship? And you've detached yourself enough where now you could think clearly, you could process everything that's going to happen more honestly, more more to whom you are truly in your soul, in your being. And when you start dating with a purpose, and again, I know it's something that it's more prevalent in the female circles, but us as men, we got to take the control back in dating as far as like what our expectations. So if you're not looking for anything serious, trust me, you put that out there to the females that you know, I'm for sure you're gonna lose some because they're probably looking for something more serious. But you for sure you're gonna find some that are like me too, and you'll have a good ass time. You won't have to worry about any miscommunication, but you're dating with a purpose. Yes, I want women, I want that experience, so I'm gonna make it known to the women in a respectful way. Like I said, after you go and get their number, meet them, whatever, set up that first coffee date. Trust me, in that first meetup, probably even before in the first text, is after you guys, if you guys initiate exchange numbers, or if you guys meet through a dating app or social media, it might even come up before the coffee for date. Like, what are you looking for? I'm looking to date seriously. Oh, I'm just looking to hook up and have a good time, or whatever it is. That question will come up fairly quick, where your investment as far as financially and even in your feelings wise is going to be so minimal that you'll be able to just let that go and not bounce to the next, but in a healthy way say, hey, you don't meet what I want, thank you but no thank you, move on to the next. And if those people, and something I keep on preaching, if those people still want to come to you and change themselves, I don't preach that anyone should change for anyone, but if they're gonna do it, if anyone's gonna do it, they need to do it because you as a man know what you want, what you expect. And anyone in your life, whether it be romantically, again, without the litany, in this instance romantically, they're going to have to gravitate to you. They're going to have to change things that are appeasing to you, so then that allows you as a man to allow the masculine energy to flow without interruption, so you're able to lead the relationship where you want to lead it. And no one is, I don't know if anybody says it, but no one has to stay on that ride, but you as the captain have to direct that ship and be able to take it to where you want it, and people have to be coming with you to go along for the ride. And same thing, if you do want a relationship, then you want to establish those boundaries, what you want. Yes, I'm looking for something casual at first right now as we're dating, but I would love to take it into something more seriously if the vibe is right. And of course, you guys already know, we don't ask for relationships. You allow the women to hint at them. They're never going to ask you. Some will ask you like, hey, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be monogamous. But for the most part, they're just going to mention it or bring it up somehow, like, hey, where is this going? Or, hey, what are we? And then you could address it at that time. So you want to let them, that way you're always in a power position of, I hate to come off like it's a game, because it's not a game. That I'm saying is just the way it has to be, and allowing for masculine energy to be able to flow correctly. And I've already established that if you're a feminine man, and are dating an alpha woman with the masculine energy coming out of there, it's the same principle. Female energy has to submit to masculine energy, and whether it's a masculine female to a feminine male, it has to be a submission. And he has to submit to the masculine energy and to where she is directing it. So for us as men, with having that masculine energy, it has to flow in the direction that we see, and we can't waver from that, because once we start wavering from that, everyone starts doubting. And whether it be, I know I'm focusing today on the emotional, the relationship wise, but I'm also talking about financing and your job and stuff like that. It's the same exact thing. If you start wavering from it, everyone starts doubting you. No one could trust your energy anymore. They can't trust your judgment. And You have to be wary of that. You have to understand that. And, you know, when you date with this purpose, you're going to be able to, or not even date, yes, I'm saying date, but just seek out people with a purpose, even friends and families and your jobs. When you do this with a purpose, you're always going to be in line with your objective, with your purpose, with your true calling, and that could never be a bad thing for us men. I hope you guys found this information informative. I hope I made you guys think a little bit. Share the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time.